What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I wanna speak on Michael Jordan's his comeback. Right, everybody's anticipating Michael Jordan's comeback this fall. To NBC. People are people curious as to what will Michael Jordan say. And what would he have to say about LeBron James, right? Also, people are curious about like is was it Michael Jordan's idea for him to come back, right? And in my personal opinion, I don't really think it was Michael Jordan's it, it was his idea for him to come back to NBC, right? I think that people behind in the NBA was behind it, and also maybe even Nike, right? And the reason why I feel like that throughout this whole debate, this GOAT debate, Michael Jordan has basically he's basically been quiet. And part of the reason I think Michael Jordan has been quiet and tried to stay away from that GOAT debate is for respect for older team. I mean for older players, right? Michael Jordan always said that there's a long list of players that he would have liked to have played against. So he would, you know what I mean? Then he could be able to, but he wouldn't give you an answer like who's the GOAT because he think that's disrespectful because he never played against all those guys. And he named guys like Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, like all the greats, Oscar Robertson. Then you had, he said he would like to have played against Kobe, you know, well, he did play against Kobe, but he said, like when he was younger, he would have wished that he would have been able to go against Kobe, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. So he named a lot of people that he wanted. But I thought it was wise of Mike to say that, I kind of got where he was coming from when he said that, he can't really call himself the GOAT because he didn't get to face everybody, and so that was a wise answer. That just led me to believe that and really maybe that GOAT argument to him really didn't mean too much. But when you think about it, like what's on the line, there's a lot on the line. Like you have Mike's legacy that's on the line, and then you have LeBron James' legacy, who is on the line when it comes to this GOAT debate, right? But I don't think that Mike Jordan really felt like it was necessary because I think that Mike Jordan kind of really get the feeling that he's winning this GOAT debate. When you think about most NBA, most of the guys who played with Mike Jordan or had an opportunity to see Michael Jordan, most of those guys say that it's not even it's not even a question who's the greatest, right? Who's the GOAT? And so the majority is siding with Mike when it comes to ex basketball players and people who know the game. I just watched a video of a guy. What's the guy named Doherty who played, with Mike in college at North Carolina. I think it was Matt Doherty because Brad was it Matt or Brad Doherty? I get those two guys mixed up. But I think it was Matt. But anyway, Brad Doherty, he just recently said it was no contest. He said that Mike could dominate in this era, but LeBron wouldn't be able to dominate in Mike's era, right? And so, from a like in the court of public opinion, Mike Mike is winning that race or that debate, right? Because and then you got diehard fans who I was never against LeBron James, but you know what I mean? I just got to be honest. I just think that Mike is the GOAT. So then you have the diehard fans who are mostly on Mike's side. You have now the younger generation, people who a lot of those people are on LeBron James' side because they never really got an opportunity to see Mike. All they know Mike from is his tennis shoes and his merchandise and what's that the documentary that he put out Last Dance. So they know Mike from that, right? But still, even with that being said, Mike probably public opinion. Then you got the ex-basketball players and people in that basketball fraternity overwhelmingly is picking Mike. Now, from like a championships and winning standpoint, again, Mike beat that. Mike got 6 championships. LeBron had 4. So Mike's winning on that, in that arena also. Financially, when you look at like Nike and the amount of merchandise that Michael Jordan is selling compared to LeBron James, Mike blowing him out of the water, in that category. Then when you look at the NBA as a whole, like ratings and stuff, ratings didn't fall when Michael Jordan was ratings, as a matter of fact, they went up. The game went international. Mike was a big part of helping the game to go international. So everything trended up during during Mike's era. So with all that being said, I don't think that Michael Jordan really feels threatened by LeBron James and what LeBron James is doing. I think he just think like LeBron James, his attempt to promote himself as a GOAT is just futile. So why is Mike really, if none of that is motivating Mike to come back? Now it could be Mike's love for the game, and I think that's what he'll touch on a lot of. Probably his love for the game, and as far as like expressing like how he think the game should be played, right? But with that being said, I think that if there's something even bigger, and I think it's orchestrated by like maybe probably Nike and the NBA. And like I said a second ago, ratings have been down during LeBron James's era, right? So that hurts that hurts the NBA financially. You know what I mean? And that's not really a good look for LeBron James. And especially when you take into account like LeBron James, he didn't put that work in to be the greatest like somebody like Kobe and Mike did, Magic and Bird. Like all those guys were just like gym rats. So say, for instance, even if Michael Jordan wasn't the GOAT, there had been no such thing as a Michael Jordan. You still got Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and those guys just was dedicated to the game. Isaiah Thomas, they was just dedicated to the game. So, all these guys were gym rats, and so their dedication to the game is what is expected from an NBA, like the face of the league. So if Michael Jordan was never the face of the league, then somebody else who was dedicated to the game, like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe, those guys with those type of work ethics would have been the face of the league. You even had Julius Erving, Dr. J, he was very popular. But LeBron James never really worked like that. They anointed him the chosen one. They named him King James and all that stuff. But he didn't work, and he didn't put that work in. And so even if Mike was anointed, Larry Bird or any of those guys, they still put that work in. And I think when LeBron didn't put that work in, I think that really right there, I don't think like the NBA is really pleased with LeBron James, and his leadership and the way he conducted himself throughout his career. He just coasted. Basically, he just basically took what the NBA gave him and he just used it to his advantage, to his benefit, and so that's what I think, is behind this, Nike. And so when you look at Nike, right, and Michael Jordan is then that's their cash cow. And so in order for LeBron James to be able to consider himself the GOAT, he would have had to beat Mike in that category. He lost there. So Nike too is somebody that you have to look at and say, look, like, well, why does Nike even need Mike? I mean, need LeBron. Mike is outselling. I mean, it's a landslide with like between Mike and LeBron as far as like selling tennis shoes and merchandise and stuff like that. It's not even close between Mike and LeBron. I heard somebody say, well, they're two Mike and LeBron are part of two different demographics. You know, those two different fan bases. So you can market to LeBron fan base and Mike fan base separately. But I push back on that. You know what I mean? Like, because why pay LeBron that GOAT money when you can just have, you know what I mean? You can pay that to like somebody like Carmelo Anthony. And they like Carmelo Anthony. There are some basketball players, Ray Allen, Carmelo Anthony, and some few other basketball players who fall under that like Michael Jordan's umbrella when they're on part of that Jordan team, but they don't make the money that LeBron James makes. So you don't have to Nike don't have to pay LeBron James like he's Michael Jordan when Michael Jordan is already doing that work. You know what I mean? So that would be my rebut to that. Like, you know, and I don't number one think that there's two different fan bases. Because the same people who wear Jordans will and the same people who wear LeBrons, you know, I mean, it's the same, you know, it's the same thing. Or you can replace him with somebody else who's not going to demand as much money, basically. So I think I think Nike is behind it and the NBA is behind it, and you will be able to tell. And it's starting to be able to be. It's starting to show the type of information that's coming out, like information that is going to really put LeBron James' legacy in a bad light. So everything LeBron James did to build up his legacy, the powers that be are going to allow that legacy to be torn down, and that's something that Mike probably not really interested in. You know, Mike, I'm sure Mike wants to beat LeBron James in everything because Mike is competitive. But I don't know if Mike is really interested in destroying LeBron James like that. Now, people say that Mike is, you know, he has that mentality, like you know, he just wants to like step on your neck and stuff like that. So maybe that's true, you know, but I don't think the whole idea for him to come back, you know, because I don't think that LeBron James was really a threat to him. And so that's my take on it. Um, let me know what you think. Like, do you think that it was Michael Jordan's idea to come back? You know, him and NBC, or do you think it's about the NBA? It's about Nike. It's about money and sponsorships and stuff like that. And those guys are trying to get back to the formula that they had when Mike and Kobe and Magic and Bird, like, you know what I mean? They want to get back to that formula that they had back in the day that really made the NBA popular. So that's my take on it. Like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.